Policy of urging old friends to do better and replacing old enemies. So I'd like to see regime change in Libya.
If the president agrees or doesn't, he is insane. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Let's see what's happening on the internet. Charles Stratford is monitoring the tweets and lots more internet chat.
Thanks, so. Well, as we've been reporting, access into Libya for the foreign media has been restricted. But there's some pretty harrowing information getting through to us here. You get a sense of how terrified people are by this recording of a telephone message to a group of Libyans living outside the country called the Feb 17 Voices.
Basically, we need help from everybody. We need support. We need medical aid. We need someone to stop this guy. He's sending in mercenaries from, we don't know where they're coming from. We just need aid. We need help right now. We need this guy to leave the country. I mean, everyone's basically leaving their houses and they're shahading. Nobody's coming back unless they're saying the shahada. They know they're not going to come back. It's really bad out here. Everyone's getting killed. I mean, it's getting worse and worse right now.
We also have some new video which is being posted on the website Feb 17th. It's unclear exactly when this film was shot, but it's believed to have been on either the 20th or the 21st, and it shows doctors reportedly in a Tripoli hospital treating wounded men. And this video, posted on YouTube, was reportedly taken in the Jerba Street area of Tripoli last night. It shows a lone gunman shooting at an unseen target. There are reports overnight of snipers firing at protesters in the city. Well, despite widespread blocks on making international calls from Libya, Google has launched a service where anyone who has access to a phone that works can call a landline and leave a message. That message will be transcribed directly into a tweet. The numbers are on your screen right now. We're also getting reports of limited but working internet access available in Libya, and you can find the details of the internet proxy servers on the rolling ticker news at the bottom of the screen. Well, earlier we heard from Naima Khalifa in the US state of Tennessee, and she's been speaking to her family in both Tripoli and Benghazi via the so-called Magic Jack internet box. She described how the system works and some of the distressing news she has heard.
It's an internet device that it's called Magic Jack, that you can hook it to the telephone and make phone calls. It has the U.S. phone numbers. The connection, though, is very, very weak, and I can barely hear them. And it's on and off. I can use it. If you can use it on and off, sometimes the line disconnects in the middle. I called my sister in Tripoli, and they're being very terrified. They hear that fighter jets bombing the city of Tripoli and attacking any gathering in the streets, anybody on the streets. They're attacking them. There are fleets of about 30 cars that roaming different parts of Tripoli with the people there attacking and killing people with the AK-47. We see very terrifying pictures with very horrifying images, and yet the world is looking at this and nobody is doing any action.
Let's have a look at some of the latest tweets from people we believe are in Libya and others like Naima living abroad. It's important to stress we can't independently confirm these reports or when they are referring to exactly. This was dropped on Twitter by Ali Tweel, who we believe is in Libya. The rain stopped, quiet, but I hear heavy machine guns, about 1 to 4 rounds every 15 to 30 minutes. Then around 10 minutes later, he tweets, I don't like the idea of sleeping while mercenaries are roaming my city in my country, but I have to take some sleep. And this from Only One Libya. Spoke to a friend who lives in Tajura, neighbour, an old lady shot dead while looking onto the street from an upstairs window. Well, you can keep up to date with all the latest messages and videos we're getting on our Libya live blog. That's on our website at aljazeera.net/English. And as developments continue to move quickly, we're getting some massive amounts of hits from around the world. That's it from the web desk now. We'll bring you up to date again very soon. Back to you, So.
Thanks very much, Charles. Well, thousands of workers are continuing to fight against proposed budget cuts in the US state of Wisconsin. They say that the governor's proposals will strip workers of their bargaining rights. John Terrett reports now from the state capital, Madison.
A second rally on Monday at Wisconsin's state capitol of teachers, nurses, snowplow drivers, administrators and technicians, all employees of the state of Wisconsin, each one determined to drown out Governor Scott Walker's bill that would trim their pay and benefits and strip them of their collective bargaining rights. One floor below, and the governor was telling a news conference he respects the protesters' opinion, but the state is broke and needs the savings his bill will bring.
It's interesting to see how their logic changes day by day depending on what the moment is. The reality is that that's not acceptable for us, because this is about balancing our budget not only today, but balancing our budgets at both the state and the local government for years to come.
The protesters sense Governor Walker plans to take the collective bargaining clause out of the budget bill in a brash attempt to break the trade unions.
It is about union busting. It's also about destroying the Democratic Party, because the unions are the basis of fundraising for the Democratic Party.
Understand that we're not worried so much about benefits. We're not worried so much about the costs. We want to be at the table. We want to be involved in these discussions.
Wisconsin's Democratic senators have left the state altogether to avoid being dragged into a process that could lead to the bill being passed. They're in neighboring Illinois.
We want to slow up the process, and the reason we have left the state temporarily is to give the people of the state a chance to realize what our governor is doing.
The fear among the protesters is that if the budget repair bill passes here with the clause about collective bargaining in, unions could end up being broken right across America, where most of the states have budget crises similar to Wisconsin's. Tuesday could be a big day here because Governor Walker's Republican Party will begin debating the new budget bill in the state Senate and House of Assembly. They can't do much without those Democratic senators who've left Wisconsin, and they'll also have trouble making themselves heard because the protesters, like now, will be right outside their door. John Terrett, AlJazeera, Madison, Wisconsin.
One person has been killed after a bus collided with a car outside Los Angeles in Southern California. The bus was carrying members of a Korean church back from their weekend retreat. It slid off an icy highway after hitting a car travelling in the opposite direction. 10 other people were seriously injured and had to be hospitalised. Well, despite bitterly cold temperatures, Chicago is in the grip of election fever, and a political prodigy is leading the polls to take over as mayor. Scott Heidler has more.
Rahm Emanuel had the ear of one of the most powerful men in the world, but he gave up his high-profile job as President Barack Obama's chief of staff in November, leaving to go back to his and the president's hometown of Chicago and run for mayor. Of the 6 candidates, Emanuel is the one with star power backing. To some voters, that's key.
The fact that 2 presidents wanted him, that Obama and Clinton came to town to support him. They respected his opinion so much that he was their advisor.
Those endorsements have helped Emanuel raise millions of dollars for his campaign, far more than anyone else in the race. On the opposite end, one of his opponents was born and raised in the infamous Chicago Cabrini Green housing projects.
We can change that. Thank you.
The darling at a recent debate sponsored by an African-American newspaper.
And I was a high school dropout. I went through a challenge in my life. But it lets me know, and it lets people out there know, that all of us can make it. If we just have a half an opportunity, we can make it.
With Emanuel's commanding lead in the opinion polls, there's little doubt that it will be his opportunity as next mayor. Washington insiders speculated why Emanuel left the